Welcome, everyone. We are glad you join us today. My name is Tobias. I'm the CEO of PAF. With me is Dr. Susanne Schmidt, PAF's product manager. Before we kick off the presentation, including the live demo, let me quickly mention you can share your questions during the presentation using the chat function in GoToWebinar. We will answer all questions after the presentation, if there is time left, directly at the end of the presentation. Let me also quickly introduce PAF to you in case you haven't heard yet about Process Analytics Factory. PAF's mission is to make process mining effortless for everyone. 13 years ago, we started our process mining journey. 6 years ago, we started to develop PAFnow, which is software mining business processes. PAFnow is based on more than 10 years of R&D and backed up by 300 process mining projects. Today, PAFnow is used by Fortune 500 companies around the world and recognized as a category vanguard by Gartner, Forrester, HFS, Everest Group, or BARC. PAF puts process mining where it belongs. It's implemented in Power BI. It's embedded in the Power Platform. It's built on what's working. It's inclusive and effortless. Why we built it this way? We wanted to have a more accessible process mining solution so that everyone can experience the benefits. How does it work? With one click, at one glance, PAFnow gives you the full picture. PAFnow visualizes millions of data rows in a process mining map. PAFnow delivers pre-built automated process analysis dashboards. With PAFnow, pinpoint inefficient processes with 100% accuracy to drive corrective and preventive actions. The PAFnow OPEX Edition allows you to get the real process for leadership to evaluate what can really be improved. Why is this important? DMAIC is the core process of the Six Sigma quality management approach and is used to design processes to maintain a stable Six Sigma performance level. However, due to increasing complexity and variability in business processes, approaches such as Six Sigma are reaching their limits. The extension of traditional approach by a process data-driven concept helps to optimize complex processes in a goal-oriented way. We believe the extraction of knowledge from data using process mining will quickly become a new global standard. How does process mining boost the cycle? Imagine investing decades of time and money in business applications that now hold tremendous process knowledge and competitive advantage for you and your company. What if you had the power to discover process knowledge from data to use it now? What if you could implement optimization measures by starting actions directly from process mining dashboards? And what if you could continuously check the process performance to make sure they are performed automatically? Using PAFnow in a Six Sigma lean OPEX context can help you to take preventive and corrective measures. So you can ensure that the desired performance level can be achieved and maintained. Let me hand over to Dr. Susanne Schmidt, who will introduce PAFnow's OPEX Edition to you now live in action.
I'm super happy to share with you the highlights of our new operational excellence product. But before we come to the highlights, let me briefly introduce you and give you the process we see and give you a little bit of context so that you can easily follow what I show you. For today, we have chosen to take a purchase to pay process. So this typically starts with the creation of a purchase order, which is indicated here with this activity. Typically, it's followed by several approvals. Here we see 3, so approved PO level 1, 2, and 3. Afterwards, the goods will be delivered, and we will see it in our system with this activity, which is post goods received. A few days later, we will receive the invoice from the vendor, and then we will see it in the system with the posting of the invoice, and finally, the invoice will be paid. So this process can be easily visualized using our PAFnow Process Explorer, what you see prominently here on this page, and this page is the discovery page, what you see down here. So the discovery page is really like a first step towards discovering your process, exploring what you have in your data. And additional to the Process Explorer, we have some more information. So here you see our PAFnow duration card with what shows us the average lead time for our process. And in this case, it's 29 days, 22 hours, 28 minutes, and 22 seconds. Down here, you see the number of cases and the number of variants, what I included in our data set. So here it's 965 cases with 61 variants. Down here, you see a variant filter. Here you have a tree map. In this case, in this tree map, the cases are clustered by document type. And down here, you have some more features, what I will explain you in a few moments. So for now, let me briefly introduce you to some highlights of our PAFnow Process Explorer. So when you start discovering your process, you can easily visualize what you have in your data by just increasing a little bit of the complexity by using the slider in the Process Explorer. And let me put it completely to the right so that we see what we call the spaghetti picture. So this is the complete picture of our process for all 965 cases. And for instance, when I zoom in here, I see that the process not only starts with creation of purchase order, but that there are also variants which started with, in this case, creation of purchase requisition, or on the right side with the creation of a shopping cart. I can also use the slider down here to decrease the complexity again, but by taking away the most frequent variants. So when I move it from left to right, then I see like the least frequent variant here. And also I can use this slider by moving it around and shifting the window. So I have some variant in the middle. This is super easy to just get used to the process and to discover it. But I can also use the variant filter on the right to just make it a little bit more detailed or precise to analyze the variants. Now I selected the very first variant. This is what I already explained in the very beginning. I can also select like the first 4 variants. And when I do this, you will see that also the fields down here are changing. So what I can also do is use this tree map down here and filter the complete process. For instance, when I'm an employee in the division who is responsible for document types NB, then I can just filter my complete page here on the document type NB, and the page gets filtered accordingly. So I see that I now have 908 out of 965 cases and 59 variants out of 61 variants in this one document type. But I cannot only filter this page, but I can also take this filter with me to another page. So let me show you how this works. You see down here in this tree map, right click to drill through, and I would just exactly do what it tells me to do. Make a right click, go to drill through, and then just choose one page where, like, what's my destination page. So in this case, I want you to take with me or come with me to the monitoring page. And by just clicking on monitoring, it takes the filter for document type NB on the monitoring page. Now, when I did this, you see that I skipped some of our pages in the product and directly jumped from discovery here to monitoring here. Of course, when you implement PAFnow and start using or starting your process mining journey, these are, of course, report pages that come out of the box and you can easily use it. But for now, let's focus on the operational excellence highlight. Now, when we think of operational excellence, it's super important also, as Tobias Rother mentioned, that we monitor and spot easily where we have maybe issues in our process, right? And here we have 6 major KPIs that are super important to do such a monitoring. The 3 KPIs on top are more related to, let's say, case-related KPIs, whereas the 3 KPIs down here are more related to, let's say, process-related KPIs. But let me explain you in detail what KPIs we have here. So this left top KPI, where we see the actual costs, show us that we have a cost of 502 euro in the current month, and compared to the previous months, we could reduce our cost by 105 euro. So this is already an improvement, and this is why this KPI is green. So we are using here such a traffic light system, and you will also easily see that the colors differ between the different KPIs. So the next KPI is gray, and here we see the number of open cases in total. So it's not just the open cases in this month, but it's the total number of open cases, because from operational perspective, of course, I'm interested in all open cases that I have in my data set. And in this case, these are 97 open cases. And out of these 97 open cases, I have 37 overdue cases in total. So you see that this one is gray, whereas this one is green. And this is like highlighted, used a static benchmark. Here the benchmark is 100 cases. So everything what's close to 100 cases is still like fine, and this is why it's gray. If it would be below, way below 100, this would be also green. Whereas if it would be beyond 100, then it would turn red. And here we have also a static benchmark where we are far away, and this is why it's green. But still, 37 open cases in total is something what we should try avoid, and there's that we can use PAFnow to be of help, but I will show you that soon. For now, let's firstly interpret also these three KPIs down here. So here I see cases with long lead time, which is 14.29%. And this is again the value of the current month. And compared to the value of the previous month, I see that I could reduce my proportion of long running cases by 12.4%. Then similar to the cases with long lead time, I have 14.29% cases with many process steps. But again, compared to the previous month, I could reduce it by 25.7%. So you see, this is the reason why this is green, because we are below the benchmark of the previous month. But here for the unique variance, this is now a KPI which is red, because we increased our unique variance this month by 50% to 50%. Okay, so far so good. We have a clear picture about like our monitoring of our process. And now when I think of operations, I want to work on my cases that belong to my division. In this case, it's for document type NB. And again, I can take the filter that I have set on discovery page by again drilling me with this little map here to another page. And now I want to jump to case overview page, because this is typically what our customers request from operational excellence departments. They need lists where they can easily work on and have like a to-do list to see which are my cases that are important or urgent. Now, this is just a simple case overview page, which is now sorted by case ID. And you see that there's the purchase order ID, material group, and so on. And also the attribute, whether this is an overdue or an open case. Now, let's just sort it by overdue. And then I would have a list sorted by overdue status. And then I would have like a list where I could work on. But now when you compare like the case ID 1 with the lead time of 401 days, maybe this is like urgent, but when I check the invoice volume with 764 euros, maybe this is not so important. Whereas when I check case ID number 31 with an invoice volume of 48,000 euro, but only a lead time of 38 days, maybe this is more important, but not so urgent. Okay, the point is we have a nice list, you know that from Excel or so, and this is really easy to work on that. But PAFnow can even improve that by helping you to cluster and aggregate it the right way, that you can do your prioritization according to your needs. And let me show you how this looks like by jumping now on the first time right page, which is really one of the highlight pages of this Operational Excellence Edition. And let me start with making this visual here as a spotlight, because the rest will be introduced afterwards. So in this table, you see a similar picture as on the case overview, but in a really nicely aggregated way. And typically when you start doing process mining, you cluster your cases by variants, right? So you see the most frequent variant is that variant with the most cases. The second variant is the second frequent like number of cases, but only the number of cases don't tell me whether this is important or urgent. So I could also easily use another sorting criteria with the same clustering, but now according to duration. So this is my priority right now, or would be my priority to work on the cases according to the longest duration. Or I can also sort it by cost. So now I have also a nice correlation where I can easily spot visually between, for instance, invoice volume and duration and frequency of cases. So for instance, in this variant 50, where it's only one case with a long duration and like 63 euro. Or I see this variant 20 with 4 cases, a long duration, and also high invoice volume. So this is really easy to aggregate and sort my data, but this is not everything I can do here on this page. So let me remove the spotlight and show you the complete picture of this page. And I will like this one away so that it looks prettier and we can work with that soon. But for now, let's first start with really what we want to do. And what we want to do in operational excellence is to work on open cases. So let me filter the open cases. And then the most important and urgent cases are, of course, these cases that are overdue. So I will filter now open cases and overdue cases. And the complete page, as well as also this table here, will be filtered accordingly. So now let me again make my prioritization according to duration. So I can check this variant 47 with one case. And when I click this, you see that also the rest of my page gets filtered. And I see down here in the PAFnow root cause analyzer that the overdue urgency is by 100% to act now. I can also select variant 12, and then we will see that also here the overdue urgency is act now. Let me choose maybe variant 14, and when I select this, we see that the overdue urgency is still only at risk. And now I can also compare the variants I have selected with the real, like the process model. So for variant number 14, we see that the purchase order was created, the approval was done, and the goods are delivered, but there is no invoice, and this is the rest of my process, what is missing in this case. So let me maybe jump back to another variant, which is variant 12, which was in the overdue urgency category act now, because here I can also see what is missing, that this case would be closed. So here also we have the creation of the purchase order, it was approved, the goods were delivered, and the invoice is already posted, but then it ran into a payment block. And this is because of the high invoice volume here. And to close this case, we have to remove the payment block and to pay the invoice. And this is super easy to visualize here by using our PAFnow conformance check. So let me just quickly explain you what it does, because we kind of misuse the conformance check here to indicate which steps are missing for the open cases. By clicking on this icon, I can show you the to-be model we implemented or uploaded here to our Process Explorer. And we say a process is conformed when it started with the creation of a purchase order, when the approvals happened, and then the goods received were posted, the invoice was posted, and then set payment block and remove payment block is okay. And finally, there should be an invoice. And this could also be easily adjusted, for instance, by clicking this edge marked as non-conforming, and then I removed it from my to-be model. And I can easily compare my real data with it. So as I said, for the open cases, it easily indicates me by the colors that green is what actually already happened. Red is like my current status, because it's highlighted in red because these are the steps that are skipped. So for this one variant, we have two cases, which is case ID 53 and 746. And I can just, I mean, when I'm in operational excellence, then I'm interested to have probably not only the case overview table here in the PAFnow report, but also in the, like, externally from PAFnow. I type in my email address. So to receive this email, what I just showed you, go to demo, and then it should come soon. Oh, there it is. So this is exactly the two cases I selected, 53 and 746. And this is like a to-do list, right? I can work on this. I could go to my ERP system now. I can work on the cases in the ERP system. But even better, and this is what is, let me jump back to the PAFnow report, is indicated by step 2. So I did step 1 by sending me kind of this to-do list. And with PAFnow, I don't have to go to my ERP system. I can directly execute what is missing here out of PAFnow. And let me show you how it works. So I would just select the purchase order ID here, what I would like to close, so where I would like to execute these two activities. Type in again my email address. So this is like an approval step that the system knows that I'm allowed to remove the payment block and pay the invoice. Click on close case. And when I do this, it takes this purchase order ID, goes to my ERP system, checks whether this is eligible for payment and whether I'm allowed to do it. And once it is done, I will receive a notification and I can then refresh my data. So there it is. Now I can refresh my data, and I want you to please remind that this was case 53 or 746, because when I now refresh it, we have to reset the filters, because this case will of course no longer be open and overdue, because then it's paid, right? So let's refresh the data. Let's reset the filters here and then search for this one. So you have seen that this was briefly empty. I will check for this one, case 53, just to prove you that it finally is closed. So you see what was yellow before is now green, and it was executed just right now. And one more thing where I would like to end my presentation is again the monitoring dashboard, because maybe you remember that we had 97 open cases and 37 overdue cases. Now, since we closed one case, it's only 96 and 36 cases. So this is really how we can use PAFnow for operational excellence. I hope you liked the demo, and now I would give it back to Tobias.
Thank you so much, Susanne. Really appreciate it. I have a question to you, which is, did you use Power Platform, Power Automate, or bots in the background to get this process step executed?
Yes.
How did you implement it? Can you quickly talk about it for a second?
Sure, thank you. That's a great question, of course. So then let me jump back maybe to this first time right page, because this everything what you mentioned is used here. So what you have seen, these two Power Apps here, or these two apps or visuals are Power Apps, and this is used in the Microsoft Power Platform. And every time when I click here something, then either it's directly a flow inside the Power App, or when it's more sophisticated, we used Flow and Power Automate from Power Platform additionally, so that we can talk to our ERP system, that we can refresh our data and so on. So yeah.
But you can also use the new RPA bot, which was launched by Microsoft recently, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you have some like activities or tasks that are not implemented in a system, but you do it as a manual user, you can record it easily by using the Power Automate desktop application. That's totally right. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks for clarifying. I think you will agree, operational excellence is evidenced by results, but today fixing a process problem takes too long. It is difficult to show and visually explain broken processes to business, and it's difficult to identify and eliminate waste to cut costs and improve efficiency. And I hope you have seen in Susanne's demo with PAFnow, it's really different. You can get evidence-based results, not just things which are based on gut feel by interviews and workshops. So evidence-based results, fact-based results. With PAFnow, you can pinpoint every hurdle, obstacle, and opportunity in your business processes. Also quite nice is that you can visually explain broken processes to business. So help them to understand what the problem really is and use a visualization capability to explain this in order to get people on board and make them understand how they can help you improve your business processes. And of course, very important is you can shorten the time to eliminate waste. And I like to say that, you know, compared to what we all did before, you know, and in the old days, I remember projects I did, it took us 2 months to analyze a process and 6 months to implement the process and to improve it or to automate it. And it, you know, was kind of a real project. And this 8-9 months period of time could be reduced down to a week. And that's what's so powerful with the data-driven process mining approach for operational excellence. It really helps you to shorten the time and to eliminate waste. So what's next? So feel free to reach out to PAF at any time. Feel free to reach out to our colleagues in the US based out of Ann Arbor, Michigan, available for you for all your questions, or also to our German European headquarters here out of Frankfurt. So we are here for you for all your questions. There's a lot more information available for you. So let me recommend have a look at the OPEX one-pager. There's a press release on our website. We're gonna share the recording of this webinar shortly through YouTube. We already did a BPM edition webinar a week ago or so, or 2 weeks ago. It's available as well. Then there will be another PAFnow edition introduced, which is the PAFnow Internal Audit Edition on December the 10th. Feel free to join us. We would love to welcome you again. So there's a lot of more good stuff. So reach out to us. We're here for you, and very happy to help you with your requirements. If you're interested in a PAFnow test drive of one of those editions mentioned here, you can also reach out to us. Feel free to use the form on our website or send us an email to info@pafnow.com. This is part of the PAF team. We are here to make your process mining, your operational excellence journey a success. Thanks for joining today. Have a great rest of the day. Stay safe and healthy, and thanks for joining. Bye for now.